Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I know I still owe people a couple comments in my comments area. I will be getting around to that. Excuse me. We've been having a fair amount of weather lately, and my body hasn't been too happy about that, so I've been not as with it as I would have liked this week. But moving on from that, we have coming up this coming, I guess it's Saturday. It's the 3rd, I believe, that starts. The Christie's Missing Readathon starts then. And I did speak wrongly last time by saying that it's a along that is led by, I don't think I wrote her name down, Berna's Bookish Adventures. That was incorrect. It's a shared readathon with the 4 captains, and that's Cest Kevi, Rachel Fryman, Berna's Bookish Adventures, and, where is she? Naomi's Bookshelf. So that was a misspeak on my part. Naomi's Bookshelf, Naomi leads Inspector Battle's team. Cest Kevi leads Team Tommy and Tuppence. Rachel leads Team Hercule Poirot. And Berna's Bookshelf leads Team Miss Marple. So I don't know how much time they have before sign-ups need to be completed, but yeah, that along starts on the 3rd of December. One thing I wanted to mention, actually I think I'll mention it as I go on forward, but yes, I did want to correct that. Oh, I do have coming in, I did mention this in a quick community post / poll that I put up, that I actually haven't looked at the results of that poll because I've been out of it this for part of this week, but I do have coming in some guilty pleasure books that should be my last ones for a while, simply because I don't have space and I'm on a limited income due to disability. So I really should not be even picking up books on sale as much as I have a desire to. But I found really on, when you go to the used book section on Amazon, and if you play things smart, you can get books for like a really nice price, and that's what I did. I have a couple coming in that are particularly important to me for Agatha Christie books, so I just have those at least. So as those come in, I will feature a quick look through on the channel. I'm not sure if I'll show them one at a time as I start reading them, or I know at least I want to show them all together like I did the Tolkien books at some point. So that at least will happen. I haven't decided yet if I will show them individually as they come in. See, they're coming from different sellers from Amazon because I went for the cheapest price and the best quality for the cheapest price. I hope I get some with library cards. I always get really disappointed when I get a used book and it comes from a library and I don't get a library card. I feel like I'm cheated or something. So I really hope I get some library cards out of it. And I don't just want the section for the library card. I want a library card in there, preferably with some writing on it. But yes, that's my hope. I don't know if that'll actually happen. I can't remember the last time I got a book with a library card in it with the writing on it. I think it was a religious book that I got. But it doesn't happen as often as I'd like. Anyway, so that is a brief sidebar. What I really want to make a video to respond, or not, what I really want to make a video about, at least in the short term before I get to my normal content, or I don't know if I really have normal content anymore. Everything's just sort of all over the place. But I know I have a few people that I want to respond to. I will be doing that pretty soon. I have a few, I should probably talk about whatever books I'm reading again. But anyway, sorry, I'm distracting myself. But what I wanted to talk about for this very late night video, it's like 1 o'clock or something. Yay, daytime fatigue. It really messes up your sleep schedule. But I wanted to record about the upcoming January 2023 Whodunnit Readathon. I saw this on Naomi's Bookshelves channel, and I'm sure that you will have already seen this, Danielle, and I will try to remember to tag you in this video. It seems something that'd be right up your alley. But it's a readathon with a clue theme to it. Now, I'll be quite honest. Initially, when I wanted to do it, I was kind of concerned about whether or not whether I'd have the brain power to keep up with it. I have a lot of brain fog, and if things are too complex, I'm afraid I will confuse myself and mess things up. But I am going to try and keep up and all that. I mean, I just never know how. If I write things down, I should be fine. But yeah, so it has the rules on, I'm sure on each of the channels. I only went to Naomi's because that's where I saw it. But there are specific rules that they have. She's going to explain it far better than I will. But they have, first of all, you choose your character. I chose Professor Plum because that was always the character I usually ended up playing as Professor Plum or Mrs. White when I played the game. And the game I'm thinking of, when I picture these characters, I picture them one of two ways. Usually it's the board game where you have Mrs. White with the white hair and in the maid's outfit, and Professor Plum is like a really thin guy. He's got like kind of funny look on his face. And you got Miss Scarlet in her red dress with I think she had brown hair on that particular board game. Colonel Mustard, pretty typically had that, very, indie, British, Commonwealth, military guy who served in India kind of look. He probably could have been someone who served with Colonel Race kind of guy. But, so that's kind of what I picture, usually when I picture those characters. There also was a series of books that I remember reading as a kid. They were just the clue books, and Mrs. White was really the one who looked the most different in those. They actually, I think they gave her darker hair or something like that in that. I really can't remember, but my sister and I read so many of those books. We used to play the game all the time. We used to read those books. We also, I think we did there's a computer game at one point too, but usually we did a board game and read the books. But yeah, that's a complete sidebar. Just wonder how many people remember those books. I'm assuming most people have played the games. How many people have played the game with Dr. Orchid? I honestly am not familiar with that particular character. I mean, I feel like maybe I heard about him at one point, but I never saw that version of the game. So I think that's very interesting. I'm not sure if that's an overseas thing, which is kind of odd because I lived overseas when I think when I was at the age where I would have been playing the clue games or starting to play the clue games and was reading the clue books. So I'm kind of surprised I didn't have a familiarity with the Dr. Orchid character. But anyway, regardless, you can choose whichever character you have. And I guess that gives you like an extra clue. Like, okay, you're going to get a clue for a room or whatever. And you can mark your card that they give you. And then you end up reading a book that... So there's the three categories: suspect, weapon, room. And you have to read books that will cover like three from each category. But from what I understand, you can like double dip. Like, okay, you can have a book that refers to both Professor Plum and, I don't know, the Hall. Or not the Hall. I'm losing track of what the different... Hang on, I have my cue card here. It's been so long since I played Clue. it is, yeah, The Hall. Okay, I was right. Because I'm trying to picture in my head the board game. It was such a pretty board game. But yeah, so if you wanted to double dip with Professor Plum and The Hall, then you could, like, basically, yeah, you can mark off, you can figure out your clue for the price of one book. From what I understand, you can end up reading as few as 3 books if you're clever about the way you use your clues. Like, so if you always end up doing, okay, a suspect book with another book. So a suspect book tied with with making it tie with another clue, like the weapon. Or a room clue tied with a suspect. If you just sort of mix it up and kind of have 2 each time, from what I understand, you can do it. You can read as few as 3 books and still cover your required reading. I'm explaining this very poorly. Please check out Naomi's bookshelf, Danielle from Bookchar, if I'm reading that correctly, and Paige from Pages with Paige, and they would most definitely be explaining this a ton better than I am. But you hit all your, from what I gather, you get your character, and then they'll have a link that you hit, and then I guess they'll tell you whether or not your clue that you put out there is in your, in the folder, an envelope that's usually in the center of the board, whether or not it is a part of the, I can't brain, whether or not that is the weapon, suspect, or room in question. So, okay, my character is Professor Plum, and that, they look and see Professor Plum, okay, no, he's not in there, so now I can mark him off my card. But Professor Plum also gains me an extra, I think it's an extra room clue. So then I would be able to check back for that. I don't know if I get to choose one. I have to listen again to her video. But each time that you have a book that you read that has you've chosen your weapon that you're guessing, you've chosen your room that you're guessing, you've chosen your suspect that you're guessing, you've done this 3 times. So you're able to check the link for each of those things. And your cue card should be filling up, and you should be able to eventually make your educated guess and see if your card comes across correctly. And from what I understand, there are extra things that you can do to try to, get more points and get to that conclusion maybe a bit earlier. At least from what I was guessing, looking through the documents that they had. I probably am personally not going to be able to do. I'm probably personally not going to be doing those extra things. My goal is to just finish the along, and then if they do this again next year, and I feel more comfortable with it, then I'll go and do more crazy things next year. But if you have problems trying to figure out which prompts to use per character for each character, they have a list of possible ways to represent those characters with the books that you're reading. And it's a very helpful list. So I believe that's a document that's available no matter whose channel you watch it on. I got mine off of I am so sorry, guys. I need to speak less quickly. I got mine off of Naomi's bookshelf. I'm sure that Danielle and Paige also have it on theirs. But yeah, that was the biggest thing I wanted to bring up. It is the Whodunnit Readathon. It's for all of January 2023. So another thing that's cool about that is my birthday's in that month, so it's kind of fun to have a mystery. Okay, it's not technically a mystery readathon. You can read whatever gets you your clues. But let's be honest, I'm going to be trying to read as many mysteries as I can. Sorry for the noise. I did want to bring up, though, because I was trying to look up the clue books just to see, for giggles, if I could get them on Kindle. Because if I could, I thought it might be kind of funny to try to pull in as one of the clues, use one of the old clue books. They're not available on Kindle. They, for one thing, they're kids' books from, way back 20 million years ago. But they're not available on Kindle. They are still only, as far as I can tell, on paperback. I don't know if they're even printing them anymore. I'm not going to purchase more books to take up room in my very limited bookshelf space when I can fill that up with Agatha Christie books or Tolkien books or fill-in-the-blank books. So that I will not be reading those. I did happen to find, and this is actually something I'm not going to be using for the Clue readathon, but I'm going to be actually using this for Christie's Missing. When I looked up the Clue books, what came up was a book called These Names Make Clues. And this is a book, and I just want to pull up the description of it again, by E.C.R. Lorac. So this is a Golden Age mystery author. And I feel like there's a sneeze coming on. It's not a very long book. It's only 272 pages. But let me go ahead. It was published in 1937. And E.C.R. Lorac's detective is Chief Inspector MacDonald. I actually don't think I've read an E.C.R. Lorac yet, so this will be a good choice for a Golden Age mystery author to pull that in. But this is what interested me in this, because I thought that this was a fun plot. Chief Inspector MacDonald has been invited to a treasure hunt party at the house of Graham Coombe, the celebrated publisher of Murder by Mesmerism. Despite a handful of misgivings, the inspector joins a guest list of novelists and thriller writers disguised on the night under literary pseudonyms. The fun comes to an abrupt end, however, when Samuel Pepys is found dead in the telephone room in bizarre circumstances. Okay, first of all, total Clue vibes. And then second of all, how can I not read that for either the Christie's Missing readathon or somehow make it work for the Whodunnit readathon? And one of the things they do suggest for Professor Plum is, like, you can do a book featuring a detective. Well, that would work there. Or, like, even if I wanted to do any of these other ones, let's see. I'm trying to take a look at some of these other clues. Miss Scarlet. Okay, well, that's musical theater. Well, you probably could say something about... I wonder if you can make it work for the library. I just want to look through their clue options, but I'm pretty sure there's multiple ways you can make this book work. So, Professor Plum, they do suggest, a book with the detective could work. So they do say also that you can have... Okay, so recent purchase. I could use that for the haul. Apparently that's an option. Lounge, you could have a relaxing read or cozy read. Well, that would also fall under that, I believe. And then... okay, you could argue that the billiard room could work too, because this is game related. What's their game? Their game is this kind of, like, let's go ahead. Yeah, they're playing a game where they're disguised under literary pseudonyms. I'm not sure how much of a game it's going to be or why exactly they're under literary pseudonyms. I will have to read the book, I guess. So yeah, I think there's multiple ways I can make this book work for Whodunnit Readathon as well as for Christie's Missing if I don't get it in for Christmas. So I thought that was a rather fun find. I think it can work for either along. I will be reading it at some point soonish. But yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit tired. I probably should take my meds, go to bed. But I will see y'all when I see you next. Whenever that might be. Sorry, this is a little bit rambly. But yeah, I will definitely be posting at some point when the Christie's Missing comes up. I'm pretty sure if that's something that's done for that long. I'll figure it out as I go. I don't want to take up too much of my reading time for that readathon either, because I want to get as many of my clues in as I possibly can. And the more Christie related books I can get in, the better. But yeah, I'm tiring. I will see y'all when I see you. Y'all have a great rest of your night, and if you happen to see us during the day, you have a great day. God bless. Bye.